Finding it means I got to have some rules. The way to think about this, maybe, is suppose you wanted to find a relationship. If you wanted to find a relationship, chances are you'd put together some rules. I mean, you say, okay, I probably want somebody in this age range. I want somebody with this educational background, or I want somebody of this sex, or I want somebody that in this who weighs less than 800 pounds, right? I want somebody that has all their teeth. Yeah, you begin going down the list of, look, what makes it, you'd have some rules. What makes a business attractive to you? And I'm going to give you a couple rules that I think you should probably pay attention to. Rule number one is I'm going to pay for the past, but I'm going to buy it for the future. That's what I'm doing when I buy a business, and I've bought a lot of them over the last 35, 40 years. I'm going to pay for the past, and I'm going to buy it for the future. Now, the seller is going to want to charge you for the future. The seller is going to say, look, last year we did $100,000. Next year we're going to do $150,000. So I want you to pay me for how much we're going to do next year. You want to avoid doing that because the amount that is made next year is going to be a result of the work you do and not a result of the work that the seller did. A rule might be that you have. A rule might be, okay, well, how do I grow this thing? So you can kind of mentally put yourself into the pilot seat and say, if I own this business, what would I do to grow it? And the good news is, a lot of times you can ask the seller, what are the growth opportunities available to this? And the seller is going to have a handful of ideas that he or she was too old, sick, tired, and dying to actually implement. And so a lot of times the sellers will give you direction on what can be done to help you grow it. If you're going to have a rule, maybe the rule, and I've already mentioned this, is there a secret sauce? Is there a toll bridge? Is there a moat? There somehow is some kind of prophylactic, some kind of protection that prevents your competition from taking your customers. If I would have a rule about the margins of the business. In other words, how profitable is this business? For every dollar's worth of revenue that's generated, how much gets dropped to the bottom line? And there's a lot of businesses out there that are for sale that are ugly. There's a lot. I mean, just like if you decided you wanted to be in a relationship, my God, there's a lot of ugly people out there. If there's a business that has very, very tight margins, meaning that for every dollar's worth of revenue, only 1 or 2 cents goes to earnings, it doesn't mean it's a bad business. But that business is one puff of wind away from being a disaster. And so I want a business that's got healthy margins, where if there is a bump or there is something that occurs that is unexpected, at least I've got a little bit of safety. I've got a margin of safety. I think a rule for you might be, well, what type of business do I want to be in? There's all different kinds of businesses. You know, there's franchises and there's distributorships and there's retail, there's wholesale, there's service businesses, there's manufacturing businesses. There's zillions of different kinds of businesses. And so you have to be thoughtful about what's a fit for what you want. And the best way to do that is to kind of start dating, right? You don't have to marry every single business you go on a date with. Start looking, develop some rules, and that will support you in finding it.